everyone, I'm Amanda, and I'd like to welcome you to Microsoft Build. I look forward to this every year because it's our opportunity to connect with developers like you. My team works to empower developers so that you can unleash your creativity, innovation, and ingenuity to serve your users and your business. You and your skills are in high demand. We have a global shortage of developer talent because every business and organization needs to create digital experiences. Over the last few years, we've worked with many organizations across the globe on their journey toward digital transformation. And we've noticed that the most successful ones are those that understand that it's not about just adding technology, but it's also about empowering their people so they can create the value the organization seeks. Developers are a fundamental and strategic part of success in this new reality, as they are the catalyst for digital transformation across all industries. With the world going online at an accelerated pace and most organizations rethinking their businesses, it's more crucial than ever to be agile so that we can adjust to constantly changing needs. Developers and their teams need best-in-class tools and services that help them reduce the time it takes to go from an idea to value. According to McKinsey & Company, driving business performance from software development comes down to creating the right environment and removing points of friction for developers to innovate. Industry experts call this developer velocity. Organizations that prioritize developer velocity outpace revenue growth up to 5 times of their competitors. They're 55% more innovative and perform better on customer satisfaction and brand perception. Microsoft has the world's most beloved developer tools and hosts the community where the world comes together to build software. With Visual Studio, GitHub, Power Apps, and Azure, you can use your favorite languages, open source frameworks, and tools that you're familiar with to bootstrap new projects quickly. You and your team can easily collaborate as you master new skills together. And you can deploy your code to the cloud from anywhere securely with confidence. Microsoft offers the right tool for the right job. Some apps require more control with a code-first approach. Some applications, such as employee-facing line of business apps, can be created faster with low-code tools. Visual Studio continues to be the favorite IDE for millions of professional developers worldwide. And today, the latest version of Visual Studio 2019 is generally available, with productivity enhancements for .NET and C++, better tools for Azure, and an enhanced Git experience. Just to show you a few of the new capabilities coming in Visual Studio 2019, productivity enhancements like whole line completion rather than just the statement or method. IntelliCode suggestions that allow you to significantly reduce the number of keystrokes as you can apply bulk edits. An improved test experience in Visual Studio to improve the usability and keyboard accessibility of the test detail pane and log files in the Test Explorer. And vastly improved support for Git operations from the IDE, making it easier for you to switch repos, view commits, and interact with diffs. We recently announced the vision for the next major release of Visual Studio 2022. The first preview will be released soon. Our main focus for Visual Studio 2022 is to improve reliability and performance with a new native 64-bit architecture, which will make a big difference for developers who are working with large solutions. Today, we published the product roadmap for Visual Studio 2022, so please check it out and share your feedback in our developer community. Developers are building innovative applications to support employees and customers in this new world of hybrid work. With over 145 million daily active users, Microsoft Teams has become the platform that organizations rely on, not just for communication, but also for transforming the way we connect and do business. That's why I'm happy to announce the updated Teams toolkit for Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code available in preview today. You can use the tools and frameworks you already use and love, React, SharePoint, or .NET. With rich, single-line authentication, integration into Microsoft Graph, and streamlined hosting in Azure or SharePoint, it's easier than ever to create an app for Teams. One of the most common pain points for devs is setting up a new dev environment with everything they need to be productive. GitHub Codespaces allows developers to create developer environments in seconds, providing a faster, more collaborative dev environment in the cloud. Codespaces come with pre-configured containers that work for most software projects, but they're also fully configurable for the specific needs of each project. Access is free during the beta. Sign up for early access now and let us know what you think. The Visual Studio family are the world's most beloved tools to write code. GitHub is where developers around the world come to collaborate. And Azure is the global infrastructure that allows a developer to host any application we could dream up. What happens when you put all of that together? You empower developers all over the world. Last year, we created an app called Sunrise Standup to collect asynchronous stand-ups from our team, which is distributed throughout the world. This year, we decided we wanted to add support for face-to-face, real-time Sunrise stand-ups with video. I found this great sample app for Azure Communication Services on GitHub that says it supports group calling, but it needs both .NET and Node to run. Normally, I'd clone this project to my local machine, install all the right SDKs, and then cross my fingers praying that the project even opens. But today, I'm not going to have to do any of that, because today we have Codespaces. GitHub Codespaces gives you a pre-configured dev box optimized for your repo hosted in the cloud. Once connected, you can see that I'm presented with the same VS Code interface that we all know and love. The Codespace provides a complete Linux-backed compute environment and already has all of the SDKs, libraries, and extensions that I need to be able to run this project. And by the way, Codespaces has already run .NET Restore and npm install in the background. So all I need to do to run this project is hit F5. Codespaces automatically detects the ports where the app is running and securely forwards them. This allows me to view it in my browser and makes cloud-based development feel identical to what I'm already used to on my local dev box. Wow, this app looks like it's exactly what we need. It has video conferencing complete with screen sharing, the whole nine. You gotta love Azure infrastructure and open source. Getting an app to run on my dev box is one thing. Getting it deployed, a headache of its own. With the new Deployment Center in the Azure portal, we've made it so easy to set up CI/CD to Azure with GitHub Actions in just a few clicks. I select GitHub, my organization, the repo, and the correct runtime stack. It creates a GitHub Actions file for me I can preview. When I click Save, the Actions file is added to my GitHub repo. And as you can see here, we can see that it's in my repo in GitHub as well. If I click into the actions, I can see an action has already been kicked off and my app is being built and deployed to Azure App Service. Once the action completes, I can click into the deployment logs and find my app service URL right here. I could click and go directly to my freshly deployed application. Now I want to change the theme of this app to make it look more like Sunrise Standup. Maybe we'll swap out the blue for a nice orange or add our coffee graphic. I'm going to go back to my Codespace. Codespaces are tied to the repo, and they persist even if I leave completely. When I open it back up, it's in exactly the same state that it was left in. You can even see that my terminal history is still here. Isn't that cool? I'll create a feature branch for this change, drop in the new theme. We'll call it New Theme and branch and switch. We just need to copy the theme from this other gist file, and the change is done. And I'll also add my own icon just by dragging and dropping it into the project. Codespaces works just like you would expect that it should. I'll check out these changes to make sure I didn't break anything by hitting F5 again. Stand up, the best part of waking up. I'll just commit these changes and push the branch. The integrated PR GitHub experience makes this really easy. I can just create a new theme, check that, and then go ahead and publish it. I can also use the icon in the tray. I can even create my PR right here, reducing the amount of context switching I have to do. It brings the GitHub flow into the inner development loop. The PR is created and opened right here. I can even reply to comments, request a review, or merge without having to bounce back and forth between my repo and my code. When I merge this branch, the GitHub actions will trigger, rebuild the project, and deploy it to the live site. All right, we can see that this is getting kicked off. Continuous delivery to Azure with GitHub Actions made simple by the new Deployment Center. The Visual Studio family, GitHub, and Azure make it easier than ever for every developer to go from an idea to the cloud. Happy coding! Happy coding!
Happy coding!
As software development is a team sport, it requires significant collaboration. So let me hand it off to Donovan to talk about how we can build software together with confidence. Donovan?
Thank you so much, Amanda. Let's talk about collaboration and developing securely for the cloud. The top performing organizations, as measured by McKinsey, showed that open source adoption is the biggest differentiator. As the dependency on open source grows, we're here to make sure that it can be leveraged safely and securely. As we continue to adapt to remote and hybrid work environments, collaboration and security remain top of mind. Our goal is to enable developers to code, collaborate, and ship from anywhere by combining open source practices and libraries with an end-to-end development platform without compromising security. With fully integrated tools and services, you can ship securely from anywhere and maintain confidence with code performance analysis, automated code-to-cloud workflows, and centralized governance. The sooner you can fix a problem, the cheaper it is. This is especially true with security issues. Security is everyone's responsibility. By shifting security left and integrating security into earlier stages of the development cycle, we can detect and avoid these issues altogether. Security must be designed into your application and tested and verified constantly. By combining GitHub with Azure, your code is protected in the repo and when it is running in production. GitHub Advanced Security helps you secure usage of open source libraries with automated dependency insights, scanning for sensitive information, and code scanning with CodeQL. GitHub Actions can leverage Azure Key Vault and Azure Policy in your CI/CD pipeline for more secure deployments. Once your code is in production, Azure Security Center and Azure Monitor protect your code and provide personalized recommendations to improve security. The California Department of Technology builds and manages hundreds of websites to serve critical purposes for their citizens of California. Using the power of the cloud and automation, they have built a culture of collaboration. Leveraging the power of GitHub and Azure, they can update and deploy applications in minutes. The California Department of Technology is a great example of how you can incorporate security into your workflow. Now, I'm going to switch to our demo to show you this in action. The California Department of Technology employs DevOps best practices like infrastructure as code to enable the rapid deployment of their critical applications. Combining the power of Azure and GitHub provides a secure and frictionless pipeline from code to cloud. Security is of the utmost importance to the department as they handle sensitive information and essential services for all of California. Open source has greatly reduced the time to market, but it can be time-consuming to keep up with all the dependencies and make sure they stay up to date to avoid any security issues. GitHub can shift left and integrate security earlier in the development process to detect vulnerabilities before they become a problem. When I visit the repository, GitHub immediately alerts me to a potential security vulnerability thanks to Dependabot. Dependabot identifies any outdated or insecure dependencies and opens pull requests to update them. The Security tab is a centralized view of all the alerts. GitHub Advanced Security provides built-in capabilities including dependency alerts, code scanning, and secret scanning. For example, under the secret scanning alerts, sensitive data has been detected in the source code. The alert provides the file name and line number, making this issue easy to resolve. Without leaving the browser, I can use code spaces and in under 30 seconds have a secure development environment where I can quickly fix this issue. Code spaces turns any device into a secure development machine. I'm going to replace the value of the connection string with a reference to a secret in Azure Key Vault. I will also update the infrastructure as code to store the secure information in Azure Key Vault. With the issue corrected, I can push this fix and return to the repo. Thanks to GitHub Actions, teams can implement continuous integration, or CI. CI is the practice upon every commit the code is downloaded, compiled, tested, and packaged for deployment. GitHub Actions allow teams to codify the entire workflow using YAML and target macOS, Windows, and Linux. The California Department of Technology has leveraged GitHub Actions to automate the entire process. Picking a run will display the summary. It starts by analyzing the code with CodeQL to find security vulnerabilities and coding errors before building the solution. CodeQL is a semantic code analysis engine that treats code as data, allowing the detection of potential vulnerabilities. Notice the solution is built and the infrastructure deployed at the same time, drastically reducing the time to execute the workflow. Individual steps and logs can be reviewed by selecting a job. For instance, here's a step that validates the infrastructure against Azure policy. Staying compliant is key for the security of cloud solutions, and with Azure policy, organizational-wide resource governance can be centralized. Azure policy enables the definition and enforcement of policies on resources to set guardrails and ensure configurations will be compliant with organizational or external standards and regulations. This step identified a policy violation before deploying into production. Returning to the list of workflows, I can see someone has already pushed a correction to this issue and is waiting for an authorized reviewer approval. By supporting approvers, workflows can solicit feedback from individuals to make sure it is safe to proceed with the deployment. After approval, the workflow continues, creating or updating the production infrastructure using Terraform, before deploying into production, replicating the website across multiple regions. GitHub Actions is extensible with an entire marketplace with thousands of actions available to build your workflows. Or you can always create your own custom actions or run a custom script. No matter how complex your solution, combining Azure and GitHub allows teams to increase velocity while maintaining a secure solution that adheres to organizational governance. Today, we are also announcing the integration of GitHub with Azure Security Center in public preview. With improved visibility into security scans and end-to-end traceability, teams can collaborate more effectively when addressing vulnerabilities and security issues. Combining our Visual Studio family of tools with GitHub and Azure empowers developers to confidently code, collaborate, and ship from anywhere.
That was great. Thank you, Donovan. Lastly, let's finish by discussing what it takes to scale innovation. Public cloud adoption can be a catalyst for developer velocity, especially for companies whose main business is not selling software. Public cloud adoption has 4 times the impact for their business performance than it does for software companies. Azure provides a broad range of services, so you can focus on building rich applications, not infrastructure. Across our platform, we have over 1,000 new capabilities, from AI to hosted Kubernetes, to keep you ahead of the curve. Our unique end-to-end platform lets you build in partnership with those using low-code tools, which allows you to activate solution builders across your organization. Azure has deep support for common patterns for application modernization, such as lift and shift to VMs, transitioning apps to be deployed within containers, or adopting managed databases, or using fully managed PaaS services. Our comprehensive DevOps toolchain adapts to support all of these patterns. Microsoft has recently introduced a bunch of new capabilities that make it easier to modernize enterprise Java apps in Azure. We have a fully managed service for Spring Boot apps with Azure Spring Cloud, jointly built and operated with VMware. The Microsoft build of OpenJDK is free and open source, and today it's generally available with commercial support on Azure and Azure Stack. In partnership with Red Hat, JBoss EAP is now available on Azure virtual machines, allowing you to scale your apps with VM scale sets. Let's take a look at a great example of a company scaling their business with Java on Azure. As America's largest grocery retailer with over 2,800 stores and 450,000 employees, Kroger is an important part of many people's daily lives. Kroger uses Azure to run their Java applications to transform their operations and customer experience. Kroger has built a holistic solution using Azure Spring Cloud, Azure SQL Database, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure Functions for real-time inventory management. Azure Spring Cloud runs in Kroger's private network, and secrets are stored in Azure Key Vault for a zero-trust security approach. By moving to Azure, Kroger increased active store capacity from 300 stores to more than 2,500, helping to delight customers by ensuring that the products they want are available in their local stores at the right time. We're seeing many customers innovating at a faster pace by using cloud-native technologies. While cloud-native solutions are the building blocks for most applications and services, scaling to support growing demand is challenging with a traditional code-first approach. Low-code platforms like Power Apps help professional developers move faster and without taking away the ability to use code when needed. I'd like to welcome Julie Strauss to talk about how we're going further to support Fusion teams scale innovation with low-code development.
Thank you, Amanda. It is great to join you and hundreds of thousands of developers at Microsoft Build today. To deliver impactful applications, you need to leverage the knowledge and the skills of experts across the different areas of your organization. Fusion development teams are multidisciplinary teams that collaborate to deliver the organization's digital transformation journey. These Fusion teams, made up of developers and business experts, come together to build solutions faster by leveraging the unique skill sets of each participant to address the needs of your business. The Microsoft Power Platform enables Fusion teams to create apps, automations, and bots together to scale the pace of innovation within their organizations. To support organizations who want to deliver applications faster and more effectively, we are announcing new features for Fusion teams. Available next month, the new Visual Studio extensions for Power Platform will enable developers to unlock the power of the Visual Studio family and the Power Platform together. Now you can publish your APIs and register them in API management directly from Visual Studio, as well as deploy these same APIs directly to Power Platform, where they become first-class components of the app building experience. You can also build and publish Power Platform components directly from Visual Studio Code, thanks to the native extensibility for Power Platform CLI. And lastly, you can configure Power Apps portals using Visual Studio Code and CLI, including IntelliSense support for code completion, assistance, and hinting while customizing portals. For Toyota North America, commitment to quality is reflected in everything they do. They have over 1,400 employees that quality check deliveries of aftermarket accessory installs for their customers. To better meet their needs, Toyota turned to Power Apps. And we'll walk through how Toyota's code-first developers were able to extend this no-code Power App, creating additional building blocks using Visual Studio, Azure, and GitHub. Let's take a look. As you can see, the finished Power Apps is hosted inside Microsoft Teams. The app is available on iOS, Android, and the web. And through the Teams integration, Toyota will get to fully cover all their dealerships. Once I've launched the Quality Inspection app, I can drill in to see the details of any particular vehicle that is being inspected. Let's take a look at the RAV4. I can see here the accessories that are associated with this particular vehicle. And here I see the accessories that are supposed to be on that vehicle. How do I know that? Well, behind the scenes, this app has been extended to go look up all the accessories associated with each vehicle by calling the Toyota logistics system through a custom API. This is, of course, where Toyota turned to their team of code-first developers. Let us go behind the scenes and take a look at this app. I'm in my developer environment in Visual Studio, and you can see the API here. It's a simple GET request where, based on a VIN number and the model, I can pull the list of accessories associated with a given vehicle to help me determine the accessories originally installed on this vehicle. After I've created or updated my API, I can go and publish to Azure. What is really cool here is, with the newest pre-release version of Visual Studio, I can publish my function app directly into API management without ever leaving Visual Studio. This is due to the new Open API output support we've introduced for function developers using .NET. I will right-click my function app and select New Publication. I select Publish to Azure and then select Azure Function App for Windows. I can now choose to select existing or create new Azure functions with this code. I choose existing. Because of our extended support for API management, I never have to leave Visual Studio. Now with the publishing profile created, I can go and deploy my function into Azure. Or even better, I can set up a CI/CD workflow using GitHub Actions. This is super powerful as it allows for continuous deployment as I work on my API. Now that we have created this workflow document, we can go ahead and initiate it by committing the changes to the repository. I will enter message, commit, and push. Again, as you can see, I never have to leave Visual Studio, but behind the scenes, the Git actions are triggered and are running. After the publish to Azure is complete, I can navigate to API management in the Azure portal where I find the API that I just updated. Registering my API with API management not only allows me to centrally manage and govern all my APIs across my entire organization, it also allows me to export my API to Power Platform. I can choose export and then select the target environment in the Power Platform. Now in doing this, I am automatically generating what we call an API management connector that will be pushed into the Power Platform and surface as a first-class Azure object for app developers. Let's go take a look at that. Now I'm in the web authoring environment for Power Apps. If I navigate to the data sources, you'll see the API management connector I created over the Toyota logistics system. This is a first-class data source, and I can very easily consume it, binding it to any UI element here in Power Apps, just like any other data source. You see I have a new empty screen. All I've added is a simple text box and a text input field. I have added a sample VIN number I can use for testing the result set as I hook up the API. Now I can easily go bind any of the Power Apps visual controls to the API. I'll use a gallery. With a simple right-click, I can select the Toyota logistics system. I can go to my formula bar where I can go call the getVehicleRequest method on the API. I want to connect this to the text input 3.text. What I need is to look up the accessories associated with the VIN. And even if this data is hosted in Azure, I still have the ability to go preview the data. So as we invoke the API, I can see the data binding right here. You can see the alloy wheel locks, the ball mount, and other accessories installed with this VIN. Now all I have to do is change the layout to be just title and subtitle. And just like that, I'm able to go and add a new screen to that Power App where I can enter any VIN number and look up all the valid accessories associated with that VIN. Finally, for the broad distribution of this app, I can very easily go publish it to Microsoft Teams. A single click of a button is all it takes. Now in Teams, I can go launch the app, and we have gone full circle back to where we started the demo. This is a great example of how Toyota realized the value of Fusion teams, enabling them to scale and meet the demand through low-code developers, building on top of the work from professional developers. All these innovations keep bringing Azure and Visual Studio Family and Power Platform even closer together, empowering all developers to use the tooling of their choice. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Julie. Application innovation and modern development is about building and running applications differently. It remains our mission to empower every developer on their terms, using the tools, languages, and services that are better suited for the task and team. To help all developers build productively, collaborate securely, and scale innovation no matter where they are, we support them with the most comprehensive developer toolkit and platform. We can't wait to see what you create. Thank you for your time today and enjoy the rest of Microsoft Build. Happy coding!